Hello, everybody. I'm Calvin Swanson,
And I'm Travis Anderson.
and this is Personal Foul Sports. Ah, what is that foul smell?
It smells like burnt cheese or like burnt cheese head. The whole cheese head just burnt up.
I wonder if that's from Saturday night after the San Francisco 49ers just tore apart Green Bay in a 45-31 victory.
Yeah, Chef Kaepernick just boiling some cheese.
Just
Freaking reeks.
carving them up. Yeah, well, we just
the
want...
French would like it.
They would.
Ugh.
Well, we just want to apologize. Last week we weren't able to do a video. We were
A little depressed.
we weren't in the right state of mind to be talking sports. A couple things went down last week. Start out with the Vikings.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about that game. Vikings just look terrible.
Well, we'll move forward. Joe Webb, bad backup quarterback. We need to
Yep.
get a new one in the offseason. As you know, we lost. We're out. It was a great season, though.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, beats the hell out of a 3-13 season.
Yeah, like where they were a year ago.
Yeah.
Another team that really got some bad news last week is the Minnesota Timberwolves.
My K-Love.
Love. I mean, we're sitting at 16 and 18 right now, and they find out that he's going to be out 8 to 10 weeks after breaking his hand again, the same one that he broke doing knuckle push-ups earlier this season. So, looks
It's like just not looking good for them. I mean, already on a 3-game slide, and it's just tough.
they're not the same team without Kevin Love. But hey, on a happier note, let's go back to that San Francisco Green Bay game. What did you think of that game? I mean,
It was a great game. I was rather surprised by it. I didn't think that the Niners were going to blow them out. I actually had thought that the Packers were going to win. Rodgers had that huge chip on his shoulder. He was a hometown boy playing in front of his hometown squad, and he absolutely hated the Niners for not picking him in the draft. And so I thought he was just going to come in and, like so many times before, I mean, him and Brady are the two quarterbacks you do not want to offend because he just gets back at you.
Yep.
That was not the case, though, and it was kind of nice.
Yeah, no, it was good. I mean, it's not good if you're a Packer fan.
Sorry to our neighbors to the east.
But if you're a 49er fan, you got to be pretty happy. This guy, Colin Kaepernick, second round pick 2 years ago, kind of took was just a backup for the first half of the season and all last year, while Alex Smith was playing really well, finally living up to his number one overall pick potential. Goes out with a concussion. Jim Harbaugh throws this guy out there, and he lights the Packers up for 263 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. He also set an NFL record for most rushing yards by a quarterback with 181 and 2 more scores. He was brilliant on the field.
Boom, right past Michael Vick.
Yeah, he looked good, and it just goes to show the Packers have some personnel moves to create on defense there. I think they need to. They had some people go down on injured reserve, and
it's too bad. You never want to see injuries.
No,
even if it is to your rival.
But they show they can't stop the run this year. Peterson proved that. Their secondary suspect, Charles Woodson's not getting any younger. So just 49ers were the better team. Their defense played well, and now they're going on to Atlanta next week, and that kind of brings us next week. We got a couple of matchups to see who goes to the Super Bowl. Who do you like?
I have to say that looking at the Frisco and Atlanta game, it's probably not going to be a storyline that's talked about at all. But for me, I'm very interested to see Randy Moss up against the Falcons again. Because as you guys know, the Falcons did beat Randy Moss's team in the game that must not be spoken of.
Yeah, even though he's the only player that's going to be on the field that was in that game a good 15 years ago. It's still, I'm sure he has some regrets about that game, and has.
I know it's fresh in my mind.
He's got a vendetta against them. He'll probably want to play well. I think it should be interesting. The Georgia Dome is a tough place to play, and
Very tough. It gets very loud down there.
Seattle had a hard time. They went down 27-7 before making it interesting. But who do you like in that game?
I have to go with the Niners. I think Kaepernick showed last week that he can handle the pressure of a playoff game, and honestly, I think all around the Niners, I think, are just the better team. Like, obviously, Atlanta had an awesome regular season, and they have that, nobody believed in us, even though we're the number one seed thing going for them, which is often a lot of times important in these playoff games. But I still am one of the people that don't believe in them. So
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go with the Niners.
I'm going to have to agree. I think Atlanta is the second best team in the NFC. I think the 49ers, Colin Kaepernick is kind of the X factor here. He's kind of a same player as Russell Wilson from Seattle, and
Yeah.
Russell Wilson had a spectacular game against Atlanta. I don't think their defense is really built to, hold teams to less than 20 points a game.
Not at all.
Atlanta's offense is good. They got some lethal wide receivers in Julio Jones and Roddy White, but I think the 49ers have a good defense,
Yeah, the Niners have a great defense. The one thing that I am happy about that the Falcons did get a win last week because it got Tony Gonzalez his first career playoff win,
Yeah.
and he's in his last season, so
He deserved that.
He
He's still the
deserved
best
that.
tight end in the game.
yeah.
So we're both thinking San Francisco. There's one more game in the AFC, and that's Patriots versus Ravens. Who do you like in that one?
I really like the Patriots. They beat them last year in the AFC Championship game. Yeah, they got outplayed, but they got the win. I mean, yes, it's true. I'm a little nervous about Gronk being out, but I don't think that stops the Patriots. I think Belichick, Brady. And this year they actually have a running game with Ridley, Vereen. Next man up, next man up. They're always going to find someone. With Brady's, I think he had 25 completions, and it was to 5 different receivers last week, and he always spreads the ball around. He's going to find his guys. He's going to get touchdowns, and it's going to be pretty.
It's got to be all in the Ugg boots.
Yeah.
That's why he's such a good quarterback. No, it's hard to go against Belichick. He's a mastermind in the NFL, and I think by far the best coach out there. Tom Brady, probably the best quarterback we have, best playoff quarterback.
Yep.
Maybe you could say Joe Montana might be, but he's going to give him a run for his money.
And he did surpass him in career playoff wins last week.
Well, I think that stops. I think the Ravens are actually going to come in and get a victory. I didn't think they had any chance against Denver, and they won in thrilling fashion against Peyton Manning and a
double overtime.
very good offense, and I'd say the Patriots are just about as lethal on offense. The Ravens, Joe Flacco's coming in playing well. I'm usually not too high on him, but he has a great arm. Torrey Smith, I don't think the Patriots' D is the best. I think the Ravens are kind of like the Giants last year when the team started out well, kind of slid, and then got hot at the end of the season. The team's hot going in the playoffs and then win a couple in a row. They get on a roll. They're hard to beat, and I think the Ravens will upset them, and it'll be a Harbaugh Super Bowl.
Very well could be, but I just don't see the Ravens putting up the same type of offensive numbers that they did back in Week 3, just because they played out of their mind in Week 3 and barely beat the Patriots. I just don't see it happening again.
Well, that's why we're going to watch. There's 4 teams trying to win and go to the Super Bowl, and
Yeah. Why don't you guys give us your comments on our predictions and throw out your own predictions as well?
Yeah.
I'd love to hear them.
yeah. And speaking of winning and Super Bowls and stuff, I just want to tie in a little bit of Minnesota here before we end this.
Of course.
Saw the most impressive loss the other day that actually looked like a victory, and that was the Gopher game against number 5 Indiana on Saturday. Gophers came out.
Wow.
It was a good game. Gophers came out. They were ranked 8th in the country. They've dropped down to 9, but they lost to Indiana by 8 points. It was 7 points, my bad. 88-81. They were down by 23 points in the first half. Indiana shot 7 3-pointers. They forced 12 turnovers. We looked like crap, but second half came back. We hit a bunch of threes of our own. We got to the foul line. We cut the game to 3 points with less than a minute. I think there's about 19 seconds left, and we were right there.
Yeah, it's like I'll admit I stopped watching in the first half. I was like, I turned it off. I was like, no, I can't do it. But that second half, that was much better.
I filled them in. I stuck with them.
Yeah.
I have a lot of faith in this team. We got 5 players that are playing great. Mabakwe has come back after a devastating injury. Andre Hollins looks like the second best point guard all in the Big Ten, and he's going to have to be, especially this week. We got number 5 Michigan, which is the last team that was remaining undefeated.
Last undefeated team, or well, not anymore.
Till Sunday. They lost to Ohio State, but this is a good team. I think Trey Burke is maybe one of the best players in the country, best point guard in the Big Ten, and
Mm-hmm.
Andre Hollins versus Trey Burke should be a good.
Yeah, should be a fun game to watch.
They have 4 players that average more than 12 points a game, and
Good.
while the Gophers have 5 that average more than 9,
Mm-hmm.
Andre Hollins leads them. But with the Gophers, they have 5 great starters, and any one of them is capable of
Yeah.
having a huge game. Every night it's someone different. Tubby's got depth. The bench has been okay for the most part this year, but I mean it's our top 5 that have proven that this team is for real. I think they have one of the strongest teams in the Big Ten, if not the country. And
Yeah.
that's what my blog's about this week, is kind of about how they played against Indiana. They showed some promise, and if they can go into to the barn on Thursday and beat Michigan,
Yeah.
boy, we can be optimistic about one team here in the state of Minnesota at least.
Well, 2 teams. We always have the Lynx.
We have the Lynx. Oh, and go for hockey as well.
Yeah.
But,
And of course, go for wrestling.
and go for wrestling. We want to give them a shout out too. So,
And but speaking of his blog, check it out. We got the link in the description. It's a good one. I like it.
take a look at it. So, well, that's about all we got this week. I hope you enjoyed the show, and we will meet with you again next week.
Once again, for Personal Foul Sports, I'm Travis.
And I'm Calvin.
Thanks for stopping by.
You stay classy, Minnesota.